Good morning. Subcommittee will come to order. Subcommittee is meeting today to review the process used to determine the availability of U.S. flagged vessels during the summer 2011 drawdown of crude oil from the Strategic Petroleum Reserve. I'd like to thank Ranking Member Larson for requesting a hearing on this important topic. Subcommittee is very happy that he had suggested it and to move forward with this. My hope is that we will get some answers today to several important questions regarding the conduct of the administration and identify what mistakes were made so we can avoid this situation from happening in the future. On June 23, 2011, President Obama announced that the U.S. and its partners would release a total of 60 million barrels of oil into the world market over a 30-day period to offset the disruption in oil supply caused by unrest in Libya. As part of the effort, the U.S. pledged to release 30 million barrels of oil from the Strategic Petroleum Reserve. As most of us here today are aware, the waterborne transportation of oil from the SPR to U.S. refineries is governed by the Jones Act. That is law. The Jones Act protects our national security and promotes job growth in the United States maritime sector by requiring merchandise and passengers moving between 2 points in the U.S. to be carried on U.S.-built, U.S.-owned, U.S. crude, and U.S. flagged vessels. The Jones Act has been the law since 1920. In 1987, the Department of Energy, MARAD, and Customs signed an agreement outlining the process agencies must follow to ensure compliance with the Jones Act during the Strategic Petroleum Reserve drawdown. During last summer's drawdown, however, reports from the press indicate the administration may have deliberately ignored U.S. law in issuing over 40 Jones Act waivers for the transport of oil from the SPR. After issuing a blanket waiver and then rescinding it a day later, it appears as though the administration was assuring potential bidders for SPR oil that individual waivers would be granted for large volume sales before applications were even submitted. It also appears the administration made no effort to use its authority to require the oil to be divided into smaller lots in order to be carried on U.S. flagged vessels. I find these actions extremely disturbing, particularly because it came at a time when so many Americans were out of work and these were American jobs that were affected. It is puzzling that an administration claiming to be doing everything they can to help America's unemployed would allow vessels crewed by foreigners, not Americans, owned by foreigners, built in foreign countries, and flying foreign flags to carry nearly all of the Strategic Petroleum Reserve oil released. In fact, only one U.S. vessel was used. That vessel carried less than 1% of the 25 million barrels of SPR oil that was moved on water. U.S.-owned vessels crewed by American mariners stood ready, were willing, and again ready to move more of the oil, but it seems the administration decided to leave them at the dock. I look forward to hearing from our witnesses today on how this situation unfolded and why it unfolded. I'm particularly interested in whether promises were made that Jones Act waivers would be granted before applications were submitted. I'm also eager to hear an explanation regarding what appears to be a de facto 500,000 barrel lot size that effectively disqualified available U.S. flagged vessels. Finally, I'm interested in hearing from industry on the status of the Jones Act fleet at the time of the drawdown. It is important for us to know that there were indeed sufficient capacity available to move more of the oil and the process by which the administration was made aware of U.S. flagged vessel availability. I want to thank the witnesses for appearing today, and now I yield to Mr. Larson.